Welcome back to the module on strategic management. My name is Osman Sidat. Previously, we covered the definition of strategic management and the three components of strategy formulation, strategy implementation, and strategy evaluation. In addition, we talked about the project that has to be undertaken. The next presentation focused on strategic intent. Strategic intent, vision, mission, and value statements can be considered to be the tools used to determine the strategic direction of an organization. A clear strategic intent, therefore, gives managers a point of departure from which they can make decisions about the future of their organization. We also looked at environmental analysis, the analysis of the external environment, the industry environment, and the internal environment. In this regard, a useful tool is the SWOT analysis. This analyzes the strengths and weaknesses of the organization, that is the internal environment, and the opportunities and threats facing the organization, that's the external environment. The Porter 5-Force model can also be used to analyze the competitive nature of the industry. This presentation now considers strategy formulation, bearing in mind that strategic management links an organization with its environment. We begin with the notion of competitive advantage. Competitive advantage distinguishes an organization from its competitors. It gives an edge to the organization. More importantly, however, this advantage has to be sustained. Obtaining a sustainable and strong edge over competitors can be done in four ways. Firstly, the identification of key success factors in an industry and concentrating resources in a particular area which has the most significant competitive advantage potential. Secondly, exploiting any area where the organization enjoys relative superiority. Thirdly, aggressively attempting to change the key success factors by challenging the accepted assumptions concerning the ways in which business is conducted. And finally, to innovate, to open up new markets or develop new products. Any competitive advantage by organizations in their quest to achieve sustainable growth can be regarded as temporary. And therefore, organizations need strategic innovation as a means of creating new markets and new sources of competitive advantage. In this regard, there are three schools of thought relating to strategic innovation. The first, value innovation, to search for new ways of competing on the basis of customer value in existing industries. The underlying principle here is to search for uncontested market space, or what is termed blue oceans. Secondly, disruptive innovation, which refers to innovation that changes the way in which competition takes place in an industry. This focuses on the effects of technology and new business models. Thirdly, catering for the bottom of the pyramid, from the realization that the poor young billions in developing countries have considerable spending power if affordable and suitable products and services can be delivered to them. An organization has a sustainable competitive advantage when it implements a strategy that competitors are not able to duplicate or find too costly to imitate. It must be emphasized, however, that no competitive advantage is permanent. Strategy formulation includes developing a vision and mission, identifying an organization's external opportunities and threats, determining the internal strengths and weaknesses, establishing long-term objectives, generating alternative strategies, and choosing particular strategies to pursue. Formulation issues include deciding what new business to enter, what business to abandon, how to allocate resources, whether to expand operations or diversify, whether to enter international markets, whether to go into mergers or form joint ventures, and how to avoid hostile takeovers. Because no organization has unlimited resources, strategists must decide which alternative strategies will benefit the organization most. Strategy formulation decisions commit an organization to specific products, markets, resources, and technologies over a period of time. They determine long-term competitive advantages. For better or for worse, strategic decisions have major multifunctional consequences and effects on an organization. Senior managers have the best perspective to understand fully the ramifications of strategy formulation decisions. They have the authority to commit resources necessary for implementation of these strategies. Strategy formulation, therefore, is a deliberate course of action to create or sustain a competitive advantage. Strategies are the routes that will take an organization to its destination, the strategic intent. A realistic strategy or combination of strategies is one where there is a fit between the internal strengths and the external opportunities. Corporate level strategy is about identifying the industry or industries in which an organization should participate to maximize its long-term profitability. Corporate level strategy is also known as the master or grand strategy of the organization. Organizations focus on applying corporate level strategies for two reasons: to create shareholder value and to maximize the long-term profitability and value of the organization. These grand strategies provide basic directions for strategic actions. They use as a point of departure a selected generic strategy with its associated competitive advantage. Grand strategies form the basis of coordinated and sustained efforts directed towards achieving long-term objectives. A grand strategy can therefore be described as a comprehensive general approach that guides an organization's major actions. 15 principal grand strategies have been defined and classified under 4 broad categories. These are external growth strategies, internal growth strategies, decline strategies, and corporate combination strategies. Grand strategies are pursued by organizations to achieve competitive advantage based on cost leadership, differentiation, or focus, and these coordinate the efforts of the organizations toward the attainment of long-term objectives. Most organizations integrate 2 or more grand strategies in order to achieve their long-term objectives. The grand strategies that organizations identify to achieve their objectives have to be implemented at both a functional and operational level. This means that functional strategies and action plans have to be formulated to ensure that all divisions, departments, and project teams do what is required in order to implement the strategy successfully. No 2 organizations will have the exact same strategies. There are countless variations of competitive strategies that are found, even within the same industry. And these are mainly due to differences in leadership style, the strategic approaches that companies adopt, and their own unique circumstances. However, when it gets down to the basic, the most important difference between competitive strategies depend on 1. Whether a company's market target is broad or narrow. Whether the company is pursuing a strategy based on low costs or on product differentiation. The 5 generic competitive strategies arising out of this are a low-cost provider strategy, a broad differentiation strategy, a best cost provider strategy, a focused or niche strategy based on low cost, a focused or niche strategy based on differentiation. Each of these 5 generic strategies relates to a different marketing position. A low-cost provider's strategic aim is to significantly lower costs than competitors, as the name suggests, while still ensuring that product features and services that buyers consider essential are included. The key is to achieve cost advantages that rivals find difficult to copy, imitate, or match. Differentiation, on the other hand, becomes necessary when buyers' preferences and needs for certain types of products are too diverse to be satisfied by standardized products. The essence of a broad differentiation strategy is to be unique in ways that are valuable to and satisfy the varying needs of a wide range of customers, while providing a sustainable competitive advantage over the product offering of those rivals. Successful differentiation allows a firm to command a premium price, to in fact raise the price, to increase unit sales based on features that will attract new buyers away from rivals, and or gain buyer loyalty to the firm's brand. Focus strategies, on the other hand, differ from low-cost leadership or differentiation strategies by concentrating attention on a narrow segment of the market. The target market segment or niche can be based on geographic uniqueness, specialized requirements, or special product attributes. Deciding which generic strategy to employ is perhaps the most important strategic commitment an organization makes. It tends to drive the rest of the strategic actions an organization decides upon, and it sets the whole tone for the pursuit of a competitive advantage over rivals. It is important for you to review Chapter 4 of the study guide in order to understand the latter sections on mergers and acquisitions, strategic alliances, and international strategies. These must be viewed against the grand and generic strategies. The next presentation will focus on strategy implementation.